Good evening from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Monday, February the 22nd market update. On the economic front, Ben Bernanke did not speak today before the House Financial Services Committee. It looks like that has been moved to Wednesday and Thursday of this week. I know I said last Friday I think he was supposed to speak today, but looks like that's been moved. So on deck for tomorrow, we are going to have the monthly S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index, and we will have the monthly Consumer Confidence number. The forecast for that number is 55. So the dollar was mostly flat today. Gold, silver, and copper were down, and oil was up slightly. Light sweet crude futures were up another 35 cents to settle at $80.16 a barrel. Let's go look at the dollar. So we're still down here. We can't seem to overcome this level here and close above this like 23.75. So we're still stuck here. There hadn't been a lot of volume in the dollar as of late. Let's go over and take a look at the point figure chart for the West Texas Intermediate Crude. So we're still right in this area. We're still this kind of trend line. We're still hanging out. We haven't printed the 81 yet, but crude is amazing. It just seems to keep wanting to go up for some reason. I'm sure it has nothing to do with manipulation at all. So let's go take a look at the Dow. So the Dow closed down 19 points to 10,383. S&P closed down 1 point to 1,108. The Nasdaq closed down 1 point to 2242, and the Russell closed up almost a whole point to 632. So we've been watching the Dow here, and we basically didn't do anything today at all. And of course, which I didn't mention, I guess the Russell, it did have the largest percent gain. It was up 0.1%, and the Dow was the weakest, down 0.18%. So there wasn't really much of anything going on today, much action. Another, nice little small candle, kind of buying, selling, nothing really much of going on, just back and forth. So, all three indices remain above the 50. Actually, for Russell, all of them are above the 50. S&P is actually sitting right on the 50-day moving average. So we still haven't overcome. I'd like to see us overcome this. How this MACD's been falling, and I would like to see this break out higher here to think we'll get back here. But I'm not real confident that it's going to happen. But it's pretty bullish, and we've had super light volume. And I still, we've got this overhead resistance, I think, up in this area on the Dow. S&P, we have resistance probably around that 1,115-ish area. And like I said, real light volume. There's really no buying or selling going on much of anything. There's definitely some stocks that are moving. Let's take a quick look at the 60-minute chart on the S&P. Haven't taken a look at that in a while. So if you can see here, we're going up. MACD has turned. It's turning lower here on the 60-minute chart. As of the last, several trading days, the relative strength index is also come back down, went up, bounced down. So this relative strength dates back to February the 9th right here. So it's been kind of bouncing off this. It's done it 3 times. So let's see what happens here. So that's on the 60-minute chart on the S&P. So obviously a breakdown beneath that, I would assume we're heading lower. And, if we can turn and go back up. But right now it looks like it's a little weak looking on the 60-minute anyway. Let's take a look at Goldman Sachs, see what it looks like today. Still got that resistance around that 158 level. Some of the banks were looking pretty good today. Let's look at XLF, up against some resistance there at that bearish trend line, and really continuing to have really light volume, even though the banks were performing well. I'll go over some of them later here. Bank of America is up against its downtrend line, so kind of watch that. Let's look at gold. Gold still hanging out up here. Real light volume. No one seems to really want to sell their gold, and or sell the GLD. And SLV, the silver. Again, it's just kind of hanging out. Everything was just hanging out mostly sideways today. The VIX, if I get my chart to load, the VIX looks like it's trying to stop its fall here. So we'll be watching that. I mean, look how many days in a row the VIX has been down. It's kind of crazy. About as much as the Russell's been up about that many days. The Russell has been really strong. Let's go real quickly and look again at the McClellan. So we actually, since we're kind of slowed down here, we are starting to work off a little bit of the other overbought. Now we're back down to the 45. I mean, not very much. We haven't moved much, but we did move a little. Let's take a look at we looked at point and figure on gold futures. So we did go on a buy signal. We did get that 1,130 printed. Now that doesn't mean that we're definitely taking off from here, but we'll see. So we are back on a buy signal on gold with a preliminary price objective of 1,300. So we need to be watching gold. Silver still didn't do much of anything. Silver just kind of hanging out here, and then copper. Copper is, breaking higher, and before it pulled back today, so it's looking pretty good. Now we need to watch the copper. Seems to go. We kind of follow, copper. The day that we I think it was February the 5th. Here, you notice copper started going up, and copper basically is copper's going up, we're going up. So we need to watch copper and oil, especially copper. We'll kind of do, copper may lead us. So if copper continues to weaken, it may lead us down. So keep your eye on copper. You can follow it through the JJC. All right, so keep an eye on that. Let's go look at the sectors. So 6 of the 16 sectors we follow finished in the green today. The bank index was the larger percent gainer, up 1.91%. The gold index was the weakest, down. Again, it's been kind of weak lately, 1.39%. I've been talking about watching these banks because they were sure were weak, for the typical they'll rotate back into them, which they finally did. It took them a while, but let's go to the chart watch. Goldman Sachs. I still think you should watch it, because if they continue to buy these financials, watch for a breakout with volume here around above this 158 or so. All right, watch that too, maybe above the 159.94, but still watch Goldman Sachs. Always have it on your list, just see what it's doing. Morgan Stanley seems like it's starting to kind of, putting in a bottom here possibly. So watch Morgan Stanley. It broke out of that falling wedge. It's been sitting there, not doing much of anything ever since. State Street looks pretty good. STT had volume come back in. I talked about Bank of America. I just watched this because it does have some resistance, so about somewhere around that area. STI, SunTrust, I said it was a possible dip buy here, looking really good. It went higher today. Barclays, another one on the watch list. It said it's had a lot of volume coming in, and it was in this continuation wedge. So if they continue to run the financials up, these should work out well. Regions Financials is near a breakout point, and volume starting to pick up. Stephen Madden's right there at a breakout point. It's looking all right. Atlas Air Worldwide is right there at a breakout point, also looking all right. KSU broke out today, looking really good. Volume kicked in. Stanley Works. Chart's still looking good. I think it wants to go higher. China Automotive broke out higher today with tons of volume. Joe peaked above its bearish trend line. Volume's picking up on Joe, so keep it on your list. Teva was flying today. So it's got some, it looks like it's, definitely want to go higher. Definitely a good dip buy. Real Networks breaking higher, was looking good. Cherokee broke out. Watch this one. It broke out above this previous downtrend line. Tons of volume coming in. It peaked out above it here. Also watch here possible double bottom setting up here. So watch for the double bottom on this CHKE. And I like this Sormel. It's actually pretty low risk. You could put a stop here below this 40.83 low. But I like this because it's got a really long. This is the one I like one of them I like on the weekly, where it's broke out above on the weekly chart. So it should be set up for some higher prices in the future. Right, let's go over and look at the current market signals. Follow point and figure chart for the Dow, Nasdaq, S&P. They all remain on buy signals, and only thing changed today, the Nasdaq price objective changed from 2,510 to 2,540. No other changes here. So that's really all I have for today. Thanks for joining me, and always remember to invest sharp.